Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN here. I'm joined by my good friend and fellow Podcast Unlocked crew member, Marty Sleevan.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
It's going well, Marty, now that we have this.
We have this.
We've been waiting 2 years for what is in front of us on the screen right now. This is Broken Age.
This is Broken Age, Act 1.
The Double Fine kickstarted point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah.
Tim Schafer recently tweeted out that it's been 4.5 years since he shipped his own game.
Sure.
And 16 years since he shipped an adventure game.
Yeah, it would have been Grim Fandango back in
98.
Yeah, fall of 98. Jeez, that's been a long time.
So here we are with Broken Age. And Marty, you're working on the review for
I am working
IGN
on the review.
Right
yeah. It's not going to be up for a couple of weeks. So the game is available now to folks who kickstarted. Yeah, backers, which both of us are.
Yes.
And it's going to be available to everyone in about 2 weeks.
January 28th.
Yep. So, we just wanted to give you guys a taste. As you see, this is what you see when you begin the game. You know, you get your choice. If you've been following the Kickstarter, you know the game follows these two different characters, Vela on the left and Shay on the right, in two very different worlds. And so we're going to pop into Shay's story right now.
All right.
Rise and shine, son. You better get up. I'm almost off duty.
So, Ryan, you like me. It's safe to say that the two of us are massive Tim Schafer adventure game
I've played
fans.
every Tim Schafer adventure game that there is.
Yeah.
And my favorite, not the popular choice, my favorite of his is actually Full Throttle.
Oh, wow. That's the rare choice.
I love Full Throttle.
And the sad thing is that's probably the hardest one to get a hold of right now and actually play and run. Full Throttle and Grim Fandango are tough to run on modern PCs. Like, you use ScumVM and use, they've made good Monkey Island HD remix.
Which are, those are fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so, Shay's story is, he's like a cosmonaut. And we have these, the game is still, it's a bit, I don't know, they're being a bit shady on like what his actual past is, but he seems like he's the last human being in the universe.
We don't know of any because the computer thinks it's his mother, even though he's like, no, you're just a computer.
Yeah. So the computer has like a day, sort of a day figment where it's like his mom, and then a night where it's his dad.
Right.
And so he lives on the space station. He goes through the same sort of dry routine day in and day out.
I love that you can just cycle through these.
So how far did you?
Well, I went pretty far away. The one that cracked me up though was the Soylent Green reference. I was like, I'm eating people.
So it's great. I mean, this is the first thing you're going to notice. I mean, the art is just absolutely spectacular.
I'm with you. I love the art style, and it's incredible because the game looks like this.
Yeah.
It's a very sort of minimalist animation, minimalist visual design.
Definitely.
Out of necessity. They raised $3.3 million on Kickstarter. Games typically cost way more than that.
Yeah, I know. That really goes to show you. You think $3.3 million, and you're like, holy crap, that is so much money. But then you see something like this, and you're like, nope, they went over budget. Like, they had to use a lot of their own money for this.
But to the point, somehow, despite all that, I adore this art style.
Yeah.
You actually made the perfect reference to what this reminds you of.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of trite. People say it with a lot of things, but it honestly looks like a picture book come to life. You look at the way these characters are, they're a bit, they have a fantastical element to them, but at the same time, you look like any of these things can be ripped from the screen, and you could put this on a wall and be completely happy with it.
Absolutely.
They've really, if you played like the original, Monkey Island or Maniac Mansion, you'll know a lot. There were just a handful of verbs with every object, and it wasn't cumbersome. It was just the way it was back in the day.
We've simplified it here.
Yeah. You have your items that you get, and everything sort of you could interact with in the environment is highlighted.
Right.
And
you click and drag your item over the thing you want it to interact with.
And I find myself, even if I know the solution to a puzzle, I am still going to try every combination of things just to see what the reaction is going to be.
It's Tim Schafer
It's Tim Schafer. The writing is absolutely spectacular. He shows in this game why he's one of the best of all time in the
also,
industry.
if you have been following the Kickstarter and you've been watching the Two-Player Productions documentary,
which are fantastic.
Oh, they're
I would love
phenomenal.
to see that on every game going forward, honestly.
Yeah. Elijah Wood is the voice of Shay,
yeah.
and he is fantastic.
Yeah, he is. He's amazing. Yeah, the voice work across the board is really great. You get a couple famous people like Jack Black and Will Wheaton and Pendleton Ward pop up.
Yeah, we don't see them in the early part.
No,
here.
you don't see them in the early part. No. Yeah, and I really like the way that Tim and the folks at Double Fine are able to sort of jump around and oscillate between genuinely hilarious moments and also sort of real touching drama.
Absolutely.
You have this kid who was seemingly raised by himself his entire life. He's never really had human contact, and he goes through the same sort of sad rigmarole where the AI tries to bring fun to his life, but you can tell he is so freaking bored by it.
Here we have his the knitted things that the ship has made for him.
Yeah, the ship knits him like yarn buddies, and he goes through these fake sort of adventures that they try to create for him.
They're trapped in an ice cream avalanche.
Yeah. So you can hear, it's a standard, you're going to be pointing, you're going to be clicking, you're going to be walking around. It does a couple really interesting things. I don't know if it's going to highlight it right here, but as you get later on in the game, it's really intuitive where if you see an exit to a room, it'll show up as a single arrow, and if you click it, your character will walk over there.
That's an old-school scum trick. Yeah,
where if you double-click it, you'll just automatically.
Yeah, it really speeds up your navigation.
Yeah, which is, that's fantastic in terms of there are segments where, especially in Velas, and Chase, too, where you have to get across what you have to do, but you have to get across sort of a very wide expanse.
Yeah. I love the talking spoon.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's like I can't wait to be in your mouth again. Like,
yeah, and it does have in typical Tim Schafer fashion, it does have a lot of the humor is a lot like Pixar, where it works on a core level, but also like it has a lot of double entendres.
Yeah. And I love this ship control station, which has clearly been designed for a 2-year-old, but he's now much older.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
grown up.
Yeah. You see a mobile, everything sort of squeaks when he's touching it.
So off on another
fake adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we'll see here soon that a lot of people were kind of curious of we know that there's these two characters, that they exist in kind of completely different worlds, but obviously somehow they're linked together, and how the two stories would play out. And as of now, when you pop into the game, you can obviously at the beginning you can choose between the two, and you can swap back and forth at any time you want.
Yes.
And so far, I haven't really gotten if you played, especially Day of the Tentacle, you had the 3 characters who went to 3 different time periods.
Yes.
And you had to, sort of throw items through time. And really, one character had to interact with a tree that would help a character in the future.
Correct.
And, as of now, that sort of thing hasn't popped up. I'm about 3 hours into the first act. But, I fully expect, by the end of Act 1, and certainly, throughout Act 2, that the stories will really weave together.
Something's telling me I should stick my face right into it.
I love this because I actually thought this was an alien. I'm like, nope, this is just a present.
There are a couple of good sci-fi references just in this.
Oh,
in this
absolutely,
first act.
yeah. And especially, so the... we'll do another commentary on Vella's story, but yeah, they're really each character is really sort of rooted in a specific almost genre fiction, and
that's true.
The folks at Double Fine are so smart in terms of references, like making fun of the tropes that tend to fall on.
Okay, we're gonna.
Were we gonna try another one?
Well, I guess we don't. Maybe we don't have to show everything. We'll leave something to the
something to the imagination,
or to your own experience.
So yeah, this is sort of the. I would say this is the first puzzle of the game,
Correct.
if you want to call it that.
I overthought the hell out of this.
I'm going to be honest. I overthought the very first puzzle of Velas to the point where I was like, did the game break? Because, of course, if something's not going right, I assume the game is broke.
Yeah,
there's no way this could possibly be my fault. So, yeah, this is the first puzzle. You can interact with the bridge man, and obviously he can either you can create his bridge or you can retract the bridge. And, if you have the bridge extended, you're going to sort of just go through the infinite loop of adventures. Yeah. Whereas if you don't, I tricked him right at the last minute.
I love that he's just happy to be.
Yeah, he's just
anything.
like, it's something different, even if I'm falling to my death.
You see that later on in the episode as well, where he's just like he's in sort of a death-like scenario, but he's just thrilled about it.
Yeah, he's absolutely loving it. Yeah, really good. Their sense for comedic timing is just, impeccable in this game. I laughed more the first 3 hours of this than I have in any game in a long time.
Yeah.
Fun? Huh? Who are you? When you tire of child's play, when you're ready for real danger.
It's funny, people a lot of times, well, really for years now, have been hung up on, well, how long is the game?
Sure,
how long
sure.
is it? How long is it? And with a point-and-click adventure, it so varies based on if you get stuck.
Oh, absolutely.
How long it takes.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're about 3 hours in, and I'm about 2.5, and so I think you and I are tracking about the same.
We're tracking
time.
about the same. I absolutely hit a wall. Like, just right before we recorded this, I hit a wall, and so I'm like, I'm going to be like bashing my head against it until.
But what happens inevitably with Tim's with most good point-and-click adventures is, it's really a case where you just stop. You either. And you maybe go to bed, and then the next day you just nail it instantly.
Yeah,
and you're
you
fine.
just walk away. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down on my computer, I'm sure, next time and be able to just solve it right away. So yeah, that was it for Shay's opening segment. Again, we're embargoed on the review until was just 27th, 28th.
One of those two.
One of those
couple
two.
weeks from now.
We're gonna have some written impressions in another video, but as of right now, the couple hours that Ryan and I have spent in it, I would say we're both enamored.
I love
with
it so much,
yeah.
and it's not just. I have a lot of respect for
Sure.
Tim. Obviously, I'm a big Tim Schafer fan, but this game is legitimately a breath of fresh air in that even I give Telltale so much credit for reviving what we now know as adventure gaming.
Sure.
But this is a very different style of adventure gaming.
Yeah.
It is the classic style where it is, literally, it's called point-and-click adventure because that's literally what you're doing.
Yep.
And you're using objects to interact with other objects and solve puzzles. And it's again the art, the characters, the story so far.
Yep. The writing,
so much
the voice
to love.
work, the music. Like you said, the setting, everything about it, I'm completely enamored with. Can't wait to play more.
So come join us right now for our other Let's Play video where we're going to check out the beginning of Vela's story here in Broken Age. So for more on all things Broken Age, you're already in the right place here on IGN.